the old days. Nope. What do you need? Okay, we have our first media availability of the morning. We have with us NASCAR Hall of Famer and the winner of the inaugural Las Vegas 400 back in 1998, Mark Martin, and along with him, our track president, Chris Powell. And Chris, you want to talk about this little program that's brought Mark here today?
Well, we have drugged Mark around this weekend, the likes of which he never even saw when he was in a Hall of Fame career. I mean, it's been a lot of fun and for us, and I hope it has been for Mark. But we started this Speedway Legends program. I'll be honest with you, I was, as I was telling Mark the other night, listening to this Scene Vault podcast that Rick Houston and Steve Wade, former writers with Winston Cup Scene, did, and it got me to thinking about the old times and how much the fans yearn for, as Mark calls it, the golden era. And I thought to myself, why don't we do something on race weekend to honor one legend each year? And I think some of you might remember that last year we announced that the first legend would be in 2022 during the weekend of our October weekend, of the weekend of the South Point 400, that our first Speedway legend would be Mark Martin, the winner of the inaugural 1998 Las Vegas 400. Mark, thank you so much for all you've done this weekend. I hope it's been as much fun for you as it has been for us, as well as these race fans.
Oh, it's been crazy. It reminds me of the old days for sure. It's been so much fun to see quite a few familiar faces, a lot of new faces, man, oh man, and how things have changed really since I've been away. So it's unbelievable honor to be, a part of this program. I reflect back on my career, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work with some of the greatest people in NASCAR history and motorsports history. What an amazing run it was for 40 years, and it's just it's really cool to get back here. And all the stars just seem to line up. I think for me it's extremely cool to be able to show off the car, not a show car, the car that we won this race with. And it has a really cool history. We moved from Liberty, North Carolina, into the shop in Mooresville where Jeff Burton was running the 99 car for the 1998 season. And so the guys that Jeff Burton had assembled there with that operation started building cars for us at number 50, JR 50, and this is 51. It was my favorite car other than JR 10, which got our first win. And there's more to come on that story as we go forward. We're in the process of restoring that car as well, but that's a separate history. This car is very important. We won here with it, and then we went to Texas and won, California and won, and Michigan. So it won 4 races in 1998. That is the car. It's inscribed all over at JR 51. So for me, that's really, really cool, and I hope that people enjoy seeing that car.
I'll just tell you that a young man named Landon Best out of Maryville, Tennessee, purchased a car. Was it an auction, Mark?
No, it wasn't. All I know is it was under a lean-to, out a shed somewhere in North Carolina. I don't really know, but he found the car, didn't know its history. He was a huge fan of mine, had a JR 29 that he had restored, and he found this car, and he sold 29 so he'd get the money to purchase this car. Then he found out it was a 4-time winner and my second most favorite car of Roush number 6 history. So he quickly only had about 6 months to get it restored, and he quickly got it all put together and running, and here it is.
Landon would send out these photographs about once every 2 weeks of the progress he was making on restoring this number 6 Roush Racing Valvoline Ford, and we were all worried about whether he'd get done with it or not, but he did. And I have a video of when he and his girlfriend started it for the first time, and it ran, and they were just jumping up and down. They were so excited.
Yeah.
So, tell the story, Mark, if you will, about when you came out here to test 6 weeks before our race.
So, yeah, I hadn't, been on the track because I didn't run the Busch Xfinity races or whatever truck races that they had before, so I'd never been on the track. So we scheduled a test for January. We brought that brand new car and a holdover car from the 97 season as well. Ran both cars. This 51 was about 0.3 of a second faster. It was the new generation hot rods, for sure. I backed it in the fence, and the other car was just slower. And my guys just went to work, and they beat that thing and porta powered it and got it back out, and we finished our test with it. And then it was of course still fast, and they took it home and made it pretty again, and brought it out for the race. But yeah, I got slack out there and backed it in the fence down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. So anyway, kudos to a great race team for beating it out and completing the test with it all beat up.
Any questions for Mark?
Holly's got one there.
Hey, Mark and Chris. Mark, I remember being here in 1998 and watching you, writing about your win. I saw you guys the other evening at South Point, and I just wondered how much it must mean to you that it was completely full of fans. The line was all the way around a huge arena. People still so excited to meet you and get an autograph and see you. And what does that mean to you, even these years after you've retired?
It was really warming because, that's a closed chapter in my life. I don't see that kind of thing. I don't get out in big functions. I don't get to many NASCAR races anymore. So to have the fans come out like they came out to South Point Thursday night was incredible, and so many people had memorabilia and wanted our old stuff and wanted it signed. So I want to just give a shout out to Michael Gahn and Brendan Gahn for all that they do for motorsports and for being a part of this and putting that on down there, because it was an opportunity to get it was a little bit more intimate setting than at the racetrack and all the hysteria. So it was a great event. It was so nice to see the fans, and like Chris said, we have discovered that there is so much of a thirst for the 80s and 90s era of racing, NASCAR racing and all. And so with that, of course, most of you know that my son Matt has started the Mark Martin Archive and markmartinarchive.com, and we've been working, or he's been working on this for a long time, but there's a lot of exciting things that he's got coming down the pipe with that, and we're really excited about it, really excited about the book that we're working on that should launch next year. Excited about the NASCAR's 75th anniversary. It's going to be a lot of fun to celebrate 75 years of history with NASCAR as well. So there's a lot coming up the next 18 months of really cool retro, reminiscing the history of the sport, and celebrating what we have today, which is the greatest on-track product in history. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of what we've seen on the racetrack in 2022. In my opinion, it's the best racing we've ever seen. And so, you couple all that together, and, it's just a lot of positive momentum for NASCAR right now.
Right here.
So it seems like you're going to take JR51 for a pace lap. What are you going to get out of it? Are you going to try to open it up a little bit?
What I'm going to get out of it is the fans are just, they're not going to believe it. I mean, we have so much, and we've kind of left it for a surprise for them, kind of teased it a little bit. But, in just a few months, our Instagram page, Mark Martin Archive, is almost 12,000 in followers, and they're just crazy. They're going to go crazy to see that car on a racetrack again. Well, I'm not interested in driving fast, and so that's everybody. A lot of people have wanted to see me in a race car. Well, they're going to get to see me, but it's going to be at pace lap speed. I'm done going fast.
All right, Alan over here.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, Mark. Just real quickly, great career you had. A favorite racing memory down the road, past favorite memory?
Oh man, a favorite memory? Gosh, there's so many great times. The win at Phoenix in 2009 was probably my most memorable. But 4 in a row in '93. Gosh. 98 All-Star race, Jeff Gordon running out of gas when he had us beat like a drum, and a surprise win. I mean, golly, great season in '93, incredible a run. But there's so many things. Our first win in 1989 was so long and hard to get there. Ran second 6 times, I think, before we finally got our first one. But really probably the epic season-long battle with Dale Earnhardt in 1990 for the championship. And even though he came out on top, it was my breakout season, and set the tone for the 90s and epic battles with Earnhardt and the greats like Bill Elliott and later on Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace and just Davey Allison and Ernie Irvin. It was epic.
Okay, we're going to have 3 more questions. We done right back here at the red hat.
Daniel McFadden with Front Stretch. Mark, you're talking about fans wanting a connection to NASCAR's golden age. Well, Kurt Busch, one of your former teammates at the start of his career, he was kind of one of our last active connections to that era in NASCAR. I was just wondering, what were your thoughts on him announcing that his full-time career is coming to an end and the circumstances around it?
For me, it stings a little bit because he is sort of the connection to pretty far back, and luckily we have Hamlin and Harvick and still out there, but it stings a little bit. I remember Kurt being a teenage kid, coming into the program and coming into the Roush program, and having an opportunity to mentor him to a small degree, and watching him quickly start outrunning us, and going on to win a championship to get Roush Racing's second championship and all. And we've been blessed in the sport to be able to witness such incredible talent as he and his brother both have had. He's just put on many, many phenomenal shows, and and so it was sad for me to see that that come to pass, but it does for all of them. So luckily we have a lot of tremendous talent coming in behind to fill the space.
Okay, right. Zach, right on the microphone. There we go. And then Jerry, we'll get you next.
Zach Sterniolo with NASCAR.com. Mark, this one's kind of a two-parter. First of all, Friday night, it seemed like you went up the entire Xfinity qualifying grid, and we're talking with a whole bunch of different drivers. Was that you kind of connecting with this next generation of NASCAR talent? And then separately, I was curious your take on RFK racing this year with Brad coming in, and as that program has grown and developed. Obviously, Buescher getting back to victory lane this year. Kind of what's been your take watching that grow as well?
So walking the qualifying line and getting a chance to see my heroes today, my heroes are the underdogs, the fighters, the guys that are coming up, the guys in the struggle. I mean, I'm the biggest, you know, I'm their biggest fans. Rick Ware Racing and B.J. McLeod in Cup. You know, I'm their biggest fans, and these guys in the Xfinity Series, to me, they're today's heroes. I want them to know. I want them to know that I respect them, and I want to show them respect, and so it was really fun. It kind of caught me off guard that on that short little walk with that short little time, I was asked by two different drivers advice. What advice did I have for them? And it's like, dude, you're doing it. You know, I mean, gosh, I was a little bit caught off guard by that because that's not what I expected. You know, I expected to show them respect and want them to know that, hey, I got my eyes on you, you know. And as far as RFK Racing, I'd like to say that what Roger Penske said about Brad Keselowski having a wider windshield than the rest of the guys is absolutely spot on. Of course, you know, Roger would know, but Brad is extremely intelligent. Most race car drivers are, you know, stay in their lane pretty much and don't, you know, for me, I never could see outside the white lines. I wasn't interested in seeing outside the white lines. I stayed focused, and Brad is so bright, so smart. He is the man for the job to bring RFK back to, you know, relevance and winning races. And I was so glad to see Chris Buescher break through for them. And there's more of that to come. An enormously challenging job to bring a team back up once you get behind like they have been, to bring them, you know, to championship challenging level is a monumental task. And I don't feel like that, you know, there's no one as up to the task as Brad Keselowski for that. So I'm happy to see that. It warms my heart to see, you know, that 17 car running up front and Brad running up front. You know, I was really excited at Bristol because Brad was looking like he could get the win there, and then he had the tire problem. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I have a lot of I'm invested, you know, personally heavily in even though it's RFK in Jack Roush and Roush Racing. I mean, when I started there were 5 employees, you know, and by the time we got to Daytona in February, I think there was probably 7 people working there. I mean, you know, Steve Meal, Robin Pemberton, and Jack and myself, we built that thing a brick at a time, and it's good to see. It's good to see it on the right track and heading in the right direction.
Okay, we're going to take one more back here. Which one of you? Jerry, go ahead.
Jerry Jordan, King and Tires on that. You're still my 07 500 winner, but that's okay.
Say that again.
I said you're still my Daytona 500 winner from 07. Just saying.
Okay, not really, but all right. I get it. Thank you very much.
When you look back and, you know, Hall of Famer, legend here, and the line, as Holly said, the line of people that just want to see you. Do you sit back in your easy chair or your motor coach? Do you look back and think, how did I get to this point? Is it awe inspiring for you to look back on your career?
When I look back on my career, I really look all the way back to 1974, you know, or 73 in the grandstands at Daytona for my first NASCAR race in the grandstands, and then 1974. You know, and in 73, I picked Richard Petty as my favorite driver, and I never dreamed of being able to race against Richard. I never dreamed of being able to be a NASCAR driver. Even when I started dirt track racing in 74, 75, you know, that was too high. That was too high of a goal. But, you know, through my career, step by step, we succeeded one piece at a time, and it started to look like maybe that could happen. So there were a lot of struggles and a tremendous beatdown in my career that went down in 1982 and setback. And I look back on it and can't believe that I had the opportunity to work with, I said it before, with some of the greatest in motorsports history, and I got to drive fast race cars, and I got to race against Richard Petty and David Pearson and Cale Yarborough, and then Darrell Waltrip, and you know, the real greats. Yeah, I mean, pretty incredible. I also got to race all the way up to race against Kyle Larson. So it was an incredible career. I'm extremely grateful for what I got to do and what I accomplished, and darn sure not bitter about what I didn't accomplish.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. We really appreciate all you've done for us this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. You personify the word legend. Thank you so much for all you've done this weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I do want to make one comment regarding the legend here at the South Point 400 weekend in 2023. And that is a gentleman that Mark raced with from his teenage years. He won the 1989 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship, driving for Raymond Beadle in the number 27 Kodiak Pontiac. Remember that one?
I sure do. Man, this is cool.
And then he made quite a name for himself driving Roger Penske's number 2 Miller Genuine Draft Ford. Rusty Wallace will be the Speedway legend in 2023, so we're looking forward to having Rusty. But, Mark, you are always invited back. You and Miss Arlene and Matt and the RV, too.
I am really excited about having Rusty do that next year. I'll enjoy telling stories of Rusty, and I'll enjoy this next year because I'll feel a part of it because you guys want to hear the stories. I got stories. They go way before NASCAR, and it's good stuff. So
thank you very much, Mark.
thank you, guys.
All right, if we can have everyone's attention in the media center, moving right along. We've already introduced Chris to you. We also have here in the center the general manager of the South Point Hotel Casino, Ryan Growney, and the guy who nobody really needs an introduction, but has driven the South Point car, truck, everything forever, my buddy Brendan Gaughan. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, who has an announcement to make.
I do. This event every year gets better and better, and I think this one's going to be the best. I think we finally got the weather right. As far as the excitement at the South Point, starting with painting those lines, the Thursday night party, everything's been bigger and better. We sold out of our I need more hotel rooms. We sold out of our packages a month ago, so we got fans engaged, and you know, it's casinos often partner in things for business reasons. Well, we do it because we love it, and I think that authenticity comes through. And so being a part of this race has meant a lot to us. And if there's a better partner than the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, I'd like to meet them, because these guys have been so amazing over the course of this agreement that today we're going to announce the South Point 400 multi-year extension. So this race will continue to be the South Point 400 for several years to come. And every year it gets bigger and better, so I don't know how, but it does. And I know my team, Sally Gaughan and our crew, the arena team, the special, everybody gets involved in this weekend. And I think it shows, and I can't wait to see what happens in the years to come. So thank you for allowing us to extend this, Mr. Powell.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And let me just say that on behalf of Marcus Smith and Kevin Camper, our head of sales for Speedway Motorsports, who plowed a lot of ground on this in this effort a few years ago, thank you so much. there is no greater friend to Las Vegas Motor Speedway than Michael Gaughan, Brendan Gaughan, Miss Paula, the whole Gaughan family, and Ryan Growney, you guys, and all the employees at the South Point, because you guys look at it as a family. And when you sponsor something, you get in all the way, and thank you so much for all you do for us at the Speedway, and looking forward to a long-lasting relationship. Brendan, thank you.
You know, Ryan said the business side of it perfectly. It's what this is. The racers are what we do. My father, my family, we're racers and we're rodeo. And Ryan is not kidding when he says he wants more rooms. My dad and I tend to do crazy things, and we all get bad ideas. And then Ryan Growney comes up and trumps us and wants to add 5 more ideas to the same week. Like right now, we have the Indian National Finals Rodeo at the South Point while the South Point 400 is going on. Ryan is the king of packing our place. It's amazing. But what he said I want to echo is what a great partner the Speedway is. I want y'all to look outside that window right there. I don't think you can fit a larger South Point logo across that grass. There's not you can't do it. It just won't fit. I mean, what the Speedway does for the South Point, what the partnership here has been. Yeah, we've been around each other a long time. We've been there since the beginning. My father, you guys, Bruton, Marcus, the whole family, what we've done together for years. But for me, Ryan understands the business side. For me, I'm the old racer. What I love is sponsors that activate. Many of our sponsors put names on buildings, and then you see that name, they're there for a couple years, and the name disappears. When you walk into the South Point, we had the final 8 drivers life-size stickers on the valet door windows.
Not quite life-size. They're a little short. They cut them off.
They're all pretty short. Michael Waltrip's gone. We're all about the right height. But, I mean, we believe in racing. There's a reason we do it. We love the race car driver. We love the race crew member. We love the race fan. And if you come to the South Point right now, we have a moniker, where the racers stay. We've been building that for 50 years. My father raced. Many people don't realize my dad raced since the 1960s. And, I raced NASCAR for 20-plus years. We built this on what we love to do, and we're excited to say we're going to be here for many more years to come. And we appreciate all the work. Look, you 3 right here, Kevin, Jeff, and Chris, the 3 of you have been dear friends for, goodness gracious, almost 20 years now. But 20 years. And, we just appreciate all you guys have done for us. We love being here. And, look, Growney, even though Dad's name's on the building, young guys kind of, we got the pretty face of the business, and this is why we put Ryan in the middle. Ryan is the man. Ryan packs more stuff into our building and makes us look good and continues to make us look good. So if Ryan doesn't want it, I promise you he's not going to do it. He'll tell me no plenty of times. He tells Dad no plenty of times. But he loves his race. We've turned him into a racer. He's an old rodeo guy at heart. We've turned him into a little bit of a racer, though.
Brendan, thank you. Ryan, thank you. We can't thank you enough. So proud to have your name, the South Point, on our 400. Thank you.
Got a question back here.
Yeah, Justin Schuler kicking the tires. Brendan, I'll never forget at Talladega when you flipped and you still got out of the car and said, you're still having a heck of a lot of fun. Now that you're out of the car, you've been out for a couple of years. Are you still having just as much fun doing all this behind the scenes for NASCAR and for Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
I do still have a lot of fun. Jeff Motley and I actually do a TV show for the VSiN Network together every week. I still stay involved, of course, with NASCAR at the Beard family and do their stuff. And then the South Point, we still sponsor. This year we had Daniel Hemrick for our few races. We still got South Point on all the RCR Xfinity teams and their Cup teams. Ty Dillon drove a South Point car for us at the Cup race in the March race. So we still stay heavily involved. I do have fun. I love racing my off-road stuff. I wish I could get Mr. Growney to sponsor me a little bit more on my off-road stuff, so I could take it out of my pocket more. But you know what? We don't quite have the TV package that NASCAR has. So I think Mr. Powell took my off-road money again. So I'm kind of in trouble. I'm going to have to do it on my own still. But I love it. I do have a great time still.
Other questions? Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.